Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Cait Sarazin. I'm a Senior Content Manager at WWCode. And today we have Diamond here with us. Diamond, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Diamond, you're an application developer at IBM. You have an apprenticeship. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Very cool. And I saw that on your LinkedIn profile, you talked about how who knew a hobby could turn into something bigger, and you were actually in marketing before, which is actually the same as my career trajectory. I started in marketing, got into tech, and with that, especially like being online, how have you been able to build a network of advocates, supporters in your career, and how has that helped you in your success professionally?
Honestly, I would say Twitter has been a huge resource. Through Twitter is how I found Women Who Code. Like I'm on the Discord with Women Who Code. It's also how I found the Women Who Code website, and it's also how I found individuals who were kind of who were transitioning into IT as well, and who were already seniors. So they were giving me information and tips and things that I could probably learn or do to even get me into that space to be at IBM now. And within IBM, from learning from what others would say, I've been reaching out, like, hey, this is something I'm interested in. I see that you do this. Do you mind having a chit chat with me to kind of, get information on what's going on over there and if I can do it too, especially with it being the pandemic, we're all online. So, and I started my apprenticeship online. I didn't get to go to the office. So being able to really communicate and, not being afraid to message someone and get help is what's really helped me as well.
Very cool. And that's one of the differences I've noticed versus like the tech industry versus other industries is that Twitter is like a professional network for tech. It's strange because everyone else uses LinkedIn. So was that a transition for you, like moving to like Twitter, and like did it make you think differently about like Twitter as a platform?
It did because at the time I used Twitter to kind of like, it was kind of my troll account. And then I had to clean it. I had to clean it up. And get I still troll a little bit, but it's a little bit more professional now as well, so that I can still get information and get insight, and others come to me for help now as well because they want to be where I am, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel important, but I guess I am. So it's really been a big difference because I remember in college I went to school for marketing, and LinkedIn was the only use LinkedIn, don't use social media because it's unprofessional, and it's kind of flipped now. So that's cool too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a different way of networking online.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you mentioned like you did the career transition, and then now people are coming to you for advice. Have you dealt with like being in a new space? Have you dealt with imposter syndrome before, or had any other barriers to building your career in tech?
Yes, so I have, and the funny thing about that is when I feel it, I immediately go to Twitter because that was my troll account, and I posted on Twitter, and I have people messaging me like, hey, you shouldn't be feeling like you don't belong. This is where you are. Not everyone moves at a super genius speed. Like this is a learning process. You kind of have to re-engineer your mind. And then, me also having women in the space that I'm in at work, I can message them and they're like, no, hop on a call right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is different because I didn't experience that before until I got into, I don't know if it's something that's specific to tech or that's something that's being implemented now, but it's a huge help. And I really like that because there was times I was like, I don't think this is for me. And they're like, no, let's walk through this with you. And they'll be on a call with me for like an hour, whether it be someone from Twitter or someone from work, walking me through. And I'm like, okay, this is for me. Everyone's super helpful. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen that in the marketing industry. There's not that like camaraderie or support.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just because it's kind of difficult to be a woman in tech, so people band together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that might be it too, because there's not many women in tech at all. So as soon as they see you come in, they're like, "Hey, come on, let's go join a group." So that's cool too. I like that.
Definitely. Has it been have you been in spaces a lot of times when you're the only woman, only person of color, and has that been challenging, or have you been able to find that support in those spaces too?
Yeah, so before I got my apprenticeship with IBM, I was kind of everywhere trying to get my face seen. I was at, conferences. You guys actually sponsored me to go to a Google Women in Tech conference in Atlanta. So I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And a few other conferences and what is it called? HackX. I think it's HackX. I've seen myself there, and sometimes being the only woman of color, and then being the only woman. I'm walking in the room, and as soon as I walk in the room, people are staring at me like, they have the look on their face like, what are you doing here? And and I'm not small, like I'm very tall. I'm 5'10", and my hair is tamed right now, but it's usually huge. So, I'm coming in and they're like, what is happening? You don't even look like you're not even dressed like us, because I'm usually have like a whole bunch of colors on, and coming from the marketing space, they're very loud. So and it's interesting too, because I walk in and I'm like, oh, what's happening? And then once I start talking, I'm like, I don't care about you. I'm important. I'm amazing. I'm fabulous. So I don't know what you have going on, but I'm different. So I kind of not psych myself. I kind of give myself like a pep talk within like those first 2 minutes, like, okay, you got this. You're here. So, let's keep it moving. You got this invite, or you got this ticket to come in here. So, use it. So it's kind of how I've been looking at it.
Yeah, because it can be so difficult to feel like where you don't see anyone that looks like you, and you have people staring at you, and that's amazing. Yeah. To like do that self-talk. Our community really struggles with that, so I think that'll be really helpful. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in history or another woman in tech that has inspired your career?
Yes, so it's actually funny. So I think it was about like 3 months ago. So when I was younger, I wanted to do like space stuff, but I thought it was like super cool. And then like as I got older, like from teachers and stuff, they're like, oh, you need to lower your dream a little bit. That's kind of far reach. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that stuff. And I always thought astronauts were cool. And it's funny because I actually did a project on, I can't think of her name at the moment, but I did a project on her. It was like a web development project. And I tweeted it when I did it. And, I didn't think that she would see it. And like, I think a week later, she actually liked the message, retweeted it, and then she followed me. And I was like, I feel so cool right now. I have a whole astronaut following me. I thought it was so, so, so cool. But things of that nature, I don't really see a lot of women in those roles. And then I don't see a lot of women of color in those roles either. So it's kind of like I see the goal. It doesn't feel reachable, but I know it's possible because someone else has already done it. But at the same time, there's not that ground roots to help you get to where that person might have been. So you're kind of like, well, maybe if I Google, I can figure it out. But, Google's not really helping me. So then you kind of go into, spaces that you don't really want to be in, and your mind is still like, I still want to do that. So there's that as well. But I've always looked at women who are doing amazing things, and I'm like, I wish I could do that. I wonder how they're doing that. And me switching over to tech, that was kind of my, okay, it's time. It's time to try. And it's been working so far. So that's cool.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think what you're saying is really important and powerful in terms of being able to see someone that looks like you, that's had a similar lived experience, done it before, to know like, oh, I can do that. And I don't think we always think about how important that is, especially in tech.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for other women in tech?
Honestly, my advice would be to, I know everyone says this, but like, ask questions and reach out to as many people as you can. If you see them doing something that's remotely related to what you want to do, or maybe it's not related, but it can apply to what you want to do, shoot them a message, because you never know who might respond back to you. You just never know. And I've had so many people respond back to me that I thought, they didn't have time, or they probably have a lot of things going on, and they took the time out to respond back to me. So never feel like you can't ask someone a question. And if you see opportunities, don't think that, you're not qualified, or you don't feel like you feel like you have the skills to apply for it anyway. I didn't feel like I had the skills for the IBM apprenticeship, and I was like, I'm going to apply anyway, and build some projects and stuff, and shoot my shot. And it actually ended up working out. Even with my interview, it was supposed to be like 30 minutes. It was an hour because the conversation was just so great. So it's always take that chance. You just never know. If I hadn't taken that chance, I would still probably be in my marketing job that I didn't like. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all that, Diamond. Where can people find you?
So I'm on Twitter, Engineered Curls with a Z, and then I'm on LinkedIn, Diamond Purvis Jorsling. That's the easiest way to find me. And I'm also on I'm on YouTube, but there's not much on there. But same handle, Engineered Curls with a Z, and those are all my handles.
Wonderful. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, Diamond. It was great to chat with you.
Thank you. It was great talking with you as well.